a chunk of teams brought up kind of GPU scarcity being, the biggest bottleneck they're facing, right? So them trying to tackle it, which I believe should not be a concern for you as you're not, using large GPUs. So tell me more about kind of the process with you guys.
From our side, as I mentioned, right, we have a variety of models. It's not just one model we are training, because again, as I mentioned in the beginning, that it all depends on task that we are trying to solve, right? So we have some of the models which can be trained on the GPU, but they don't need a CPU in the inferencing time. Same time, we have few models which is trained on the large GPU, but in inferencing also we need a GPU. All right. So we have variety of things, and it all depends on the complexity of the task that we are solving. Uh, if it's very simple, that can be taken care by small models. We are training those small models, and so overall in training side, we are using GPU. A GPU size may vary from small to large, and but inference side, most of the models we are trying to keep them on the CPU, because in the end, if you start talking about GPU inferencing and deployment, then the cost, you also know, right, it just exponentially increase. So we have to keep that in mind. So most of the models that we design is CPU based. In the inferencing, training is happening on the GPU, which is true, but we are trying to put everything in CPU side. It's not always true that we'll be focusing on always CPU kind of CPU based models, but we can extend this to GPU also. But we are trying to build a model which can help us to solve certain problems, and again, it can be fast enough, and maybe it doesn't require a very large GPU in the deployment, or most probably it can be contained towards CPU, because all depends on how big parameters models you have, right? So maybe 300 400 parameters models can come to the CPU. Maybe I think 1 billion parameters model can also be can be fit into the CPU, but again the inference time will reduce. But as you move towards the billion, we are also increasing the demand of I mean, we are requiring a GPU, right? So we are trying to build something which is below 1 billion, maybe always, so that we'll avoid GPU, at least in inferencing.